Why you doing that, Shu? Nigga got a big ass smile right now.
I can take you where you wanna go. Where they got things in form of measures like the stove. Just hit the hotline if you want some more. Keep the things coming.
Cool. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Off the Block podcast, episode number 7? 7, yeah, because we skipped one on accident, but we're good. We got a very special guest in the building. Super excited to have him here tonight. Shout out to my dog, Shuicide Holla.
Yes, sir.
Came through today. Go ahead.
We here, man. Shuicide Holla, man. And we on Off the Block Live. It's love. I'm ready to get to it, man. Whatever we got to do, let's get it done. Let's max out.
Hell yeah.
To it, man. I'm feeling great, man. What about y'all?
Dude, honestly, man, so if you guys didn't notice already, we're in a new spot. We just relocated to Cleveland.
Yes, sir. Man.
Yeah, it looks so much better.
It's authentic. It's rugged.
Yeah.
I feel right at home in this vibe.
It has it has like character to it.
Man, they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't get it. You got to be really in the midst of it, man. It wouldn't really suffice to even be looking at this from the camera standpoint or anything. Like, we in the middle of this joint. This is it. That's it.
Real.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
But so we're up in Cleveland now, and I think it's awesome that the first episode that we're shooting in Cleveland is with literally a Cleveland legend.
It's kind of legendary
already.
I appreciate that, man. It's funny because my mind don't really work in the way of seeing myself in a great light because it's me doing it. So I know the extent of where I'm trying to get to and how much work that I know is still needed, man. So it's cool to take a step back and take a deep breath and listen to it. That's why I put together these networking type events, because to hear the people really acknowledge and be like, yo, no, I like what you're doing. I've been watching it.
Yeah.
That keeps me super grounded, even though I'm already,
yeah, bro,
that type of person. It wouldn't matter if 100,000, my head just doesn't grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can always learn more. I'm ignorant to many things.
Mm-hmm.
That's why every day I feed my sponge.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, bro, that's... I always, ever since the first day I met you, like, I know we only linked, like, one time, but I could just tell that you were just, like, on a different level than a lot of the people that I've worked with before. You know what I mean? Just, like, mentally. Like, you just... It's almost like I can't even sit here and try and explain it because it's like, almost like you can't. Like, you just have to hear it for yourself type shit.
I get what you're saying, but it's... it comes from the amount of listening and study I do. I'm talking about I don't take a day off. I'm talking about all day. Like if I'm not knocked out or sleep, I'm feeding my sponge something.
Yeah.
Whether it's an audio book, whether it's some sort of knowledge about why this person does that. I'm almost in a realm of a psychologist or a therapist in a sense. I just happen to utilize music.
Yeah.
So I could have these same type talks with helping someone with whatever the case may be. It's just, I channel it here. So the mind is an incredible tool. Like, you have no choice but to either feed it or deprive it. It's on you. It's on the person.
Facts.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm not the latter. So there's too many people out here that it's too much knowledge, and once obtained, like, one would be wild selfish to just want to keep itself. Like, what's the point of attaining all this knowledge to just have?
Right.
You're supposed to teach. You're supposed to, it's a lot of things you're supposed to do as beings, but, you get the rare ones that do it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's like what makes you who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's what, honestly, I think that's what creates the glue and the cohesion behind the events I do, because I think on the outside looking in, they can understand, like, nah, this guy isn't just the average. I can tell he's doing something extra. A little bit more than the average. Even, I don't think I'm doing something amazing, but I know from what I keep seeing continuously, like, they gotta believe it. And I'm positive that neither one of you could just walk out of here, see a guy walking down the street talking about something and be like, I believe it.
Yeah.
It doesn't just work that easy.
No, definitely not, bro. That's facts.
Yeah.
You can tell you're a very genuine person. You're real.
Yeah. I don't know the...
you just come off like that instantly.
It's funny, like, once they get deeper into the project, they'll understand that due to the way I was raised, because understand this dynamic. I was born in the jungle where you take, as you grow and you age, you take from the environment in order to survive. So you learn it from these people who are deploying tactics for their survival. So I didn't get to the age to get to that. But then immediately I was going into another environment where there was love, empathy, and all these different things, understanding. So it was like, of course, I had my time where I tried to. We ain't talking to you. So of course I had my time where I was trying to, understand the dynamic. But once I realized, I didn't get really too much furbished by what was going on the level of taking the nonsense and wanting to, move myself forward with that survival type mind state. It was more so I'm around these class of people who are really living.
Yeah.
So that came with a whole different mindset. But because I'm from that jungle, I know why the mindset is like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I have no room to judge. All I could really do is in the light is want to help, want to teach while still wanting to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to walk out of the house and put on a mask because a fear of people judging me or pointing, or I don't know how to do that like they know how to in the jungle.
Yeah.
I just know how to see a parent go to work every day for 30 years, see a sister do 8 years of college, see another one do. So I had drives, I had motivators that were like, okay, this is a little bit different, but I'm seeing the end result of this, which means that they obviously see a big picture. It's not, I want today, it needs to be here by tomorrow, which is the latter.
Yeah.
It don't work like that in my mind. I don't see the end point, but I know there's something so far down the line that what I'm doing now is just
It's
in the
building
moment.
up to it. Yeah.
It's just like, I was telling somebody last night, probably an hour, not even an hour after the joint, I don't remember what happened. I don't remember what I did out there on that floor because that was that moment. We're an hour later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't live back then. If I dwell on that, that's depression. Let it go. It happened. It was whatever it was to the people. We in this moment now. Just like we here, we in this moment now. Of course, we can think about what happened, but I'm not sitting like, yeah, y'all remember what happened? Like, it don't work like that.
That's some real shit. That's some real shit.
You know what I mean? You gotta be able to move with the times in order to really accept and live in reality. Reality is right now. What we doing right? This is reality. Yesterday, it happened. If you stay there, that's depression. If you thinking about, man, what I'm about to do tomorrow, and then the day after that, that's anxiety. So we gotta be right now in order to be the healthiest in mind.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a very a very challenging thing for a lot of people. It's a skill. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a skill.
I'm definitely not gonna sit up and act like you just wake up and that's the way your mind works, because there is a thing called drifting. If you get into books like Napoleon Hill, Outwitted the Devil. Drifting is very easy from no matter what age you are and no matter the profession. It's easy to drift off, which basically means dwell on something of the past or dwell on something of the future, which anxiety, depression, it's easy to just get caught in a moment, and that could consume people for hours or even minutes. But what you got to understand is time waits for nobody. So either it's going to be against you or for you. It's only going to be for the people that have positive mind states that are moving in a straightforward direction. It's going to be against everybody that drifts.
Yeah.
Because you just wasted minutes, hours, or whatever when you could have been feeding your sponge.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's facts, bro. That's the abyss, bro. Depression.
Just like
that's
sitting
the abyss.
here.
Like the deeper you go into that shit, the worse it gets, bro.
And
so you can't let yourself keep going. Like you gotta pull yourself out of that quick.
It just gets
worse and worse.
It becomes a hunger to learn more, kind of just like lifting weights or doing anything you love. It's like,
definitely does.
I can't wait for tomorrow to wake up and do some more type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Especially when you start like achieving new goals and like stuff you didn't think you'd do a year ago.
And you be able to really look at them as, I see everything that I've done. Of course, I remember every day like it was yesterday on my whole 8-year local stint. Like I remember it all, but nothing was just like, that's it. It was just like, that was a step. Okay. And then that award was a step. And then Summer Jam, nothing was like it. And it didn't make me feel like either you're ungrateful or whatever. It just made me understand I've done nothing yet, no matter how they're looking at me. So with me not really stepping into the knowing of my perception, the way I'm perceived by people, that keeps me the ultimate grounded, because I don't even know what I look like to everybody that was out there last night.
Yeah.
I just know I'm expressing what goes on within me.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
And that's another thing too, bro. You can really tell, just like the way that it's almost like you let like last night when I was watching you, it felt like you just let the music move through your body the way it just needed to be, the way it just needed to be expressed. You know what I mean?
I feel like in that light, you know, it's a difference from what I do when I'm on a live stage and then what I do at the listen party. At the listen party, of course, they're not going to get the all-out performance, but at that point, it's like, I really want you all to listen, but at the same time, from having conversations with people, I'm giving off some sort of energy. Like whether it's a beam, I don't know what it is because
it's more intimate.
Yeah, so it's like I just want y'all to connect, whether that's seeing an antic, whether that's seeing a specific dance. I do remember at key points I was acting out, like doing cinematics for certain things that I wanted to actually bring to life, and I was hearing the reactions, which told me I get exactly what he's saying in that line now because he just played it for us live. And those are the type of things that, you know, outside of that, I'm not really too much concerned on trying to look away or trying to be away. Like, this is the music. This is the music's time. I'm just the person that, you know, put it together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a deep way to look at it. I remember just like watching you in the studio. Well, first off, before we get to that, how long have you been on this journey so far?
I actually picked up the pen itself the end of 11, but I didn't write my first original song to 2012. So we're gonna say 10 years. This is my 10th.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so you've been at this shit for 10 years, and like now when like I show people who you are and like your music and shit like that, it's like it has like an instant like good first impression. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so what is it like for you to be working on it for so long? Or do you feel like now you finally are at the point where it's like, okay, I'm becoming
I think as of recently,
more mature.
And what I will say, really, I'm talking about really recently. Like, you gotta understand, it's been a 10-year journey, and I would say within probably the past few weeks to a month, it's starting to come to me mentally more, the understanding of the way I'm perceived in a sense. So now I think I've been taking on more of the mind state of understanding how to step into who the person is that the people see. Because I'm still so far behind it, because of course I'm living it. I'm still so far behind it. I'm almost looking at some sort of character like you all are, because you know, it's almost like an outer body thing. Like, I don't understand how what I went through could be this impactful. Because I'm not just making up things. These are stories. Every track is a different story. So now, as of recently, past couple months, I'm walking up to that guy like, no, you're him. And it's almost like I'm stepping into the body that everybody's looking. So I would say as of recently, it's starting to feel like not only do I understand who the person is, but I'm starting to gain a more appreciation for what I've done, and I'm becoming more humble and grounded, knowing that there's a responsibility that comes with that person. He can't just be willy-nilly. Look at these believers. So, yeah, I'm stepping into the shoes now. Like, the way my empathy works, I could just take my joints off and step into yours and understand your pain, his pain, everybody there's. That's how you were able to see that glue and cohesion, because I almost stepped outside of the character and walked into every single person in their shoe and was like, I feel your pain too, except mine. Because if you was to open up to me, I would take it in and we would share that. Think they can see that.
Yeah. And that's I feel like so many people, especially nowadays, it's like empathy is becoming like so rare. For like, I feel like at least in like, I wouldn't say it's rare. I'd say a lot of people are almost like ignorant to it though.
What it is, from more to study, and I learn, you know, from more and more that I learn on a daily, it comes down to a psychology about it. You know, I'm not gonna go super duper in depth, But what I do know is that if we're gonna deal with 100 people, and 98 of them, you know, are being have a dialogue that's really controlled in the way they think and things like that, and only 2 of them have the ability to take that John that's up top and create their, then you can understand why it's like that. 2 to 98. So you got 2 people who understand and have the will to even want to go and learn what empathy is and understand how it works, because they've dealt with so much from the 98. It's like, why are you being that way towards me when I give you this? That's what drew me into one. You know, I got to figure out why. I know what I give. Why am I getting cold shoulders and passive aggressive and attitudes and and Snickers and envy and all these vibes that I had to go and learn and study this stuff. What is this stuff that I'm receiving? Why does it feel like that when I know all I gave out was love? So it comes down to a psychology. You know, I'm not going to go super deep. The more, if anybody was to want to come ask me or whatever, or talk or whatever, I'm willing to go into depth with whoever, you know what I mean? But it takes time. It takes hours. I put in many hours. Honestly, the conversation I have with people about it that do have empathy, which in general, most part are a lot of people who were there last night, are part of that 2%. Conversations I've had, it would almost be like taking an 11th, 12th grade algebra test and going to a 2nd, 3rd grader like, yeah, here you go. I need to have all the correct answers tomorrow. And they'll be like,
yeah,
I don't understand this stuff. And that's literally the dynamic of it. 11th, 12th grade algebra into like a 2nd grade.
Yeah, it's just a different level, man. It's a different way of thinking. Like,
if you can't step outside of your shoe, man, and understand what another person is dealing with, then like me and you spoke coming up, it's gonna forever be I want something for nothing, because not that I don't have anything to offer, but I don't know how to give.
Yeah.
And that's when it's just like, no, give to me. You too. Give to me something. Give to me, instead of pour in, receive back.
Yeah.
If I got a cup and it's not running over and everybody want to drink from it, yeah, their cups will fill up, but what's going to happen to mine?
Yeah. 100%.
My joint will be empty
empty.
by the time I done filled everybody's up.
It's going to be empty.
Because they don't understand that empathy is the pouring back into the cup.
Mm-hmm.
They will learn over time. So, you know, it comes with maturity, like you said. And it hits people at different times, but you know, a lot of times it's just so late that the things that they imagine that they want to do in during life, these are like kind of the key components to even creating a base for it.
Yeah.
Empathy and different things. You're not going to get somebody that's just going to want to buy into you if you don't give a fuck about them. And they can feel that.
Mm-hmm.
So, my bad, John.
No, you good, bro.
You're chilling.
It's crazy though, cause like a lot of it comes down to just how people are raised too. Like like the 98, they never seen empathy growing up. That's usually the problem.
That's true.
It's
and on
like,
top of not seeing empathy, they saw a lot of control issues between the parents, whether one was more domineering over the other.
right.
They saw the wolves of the pack when you go outside and someone has a will to exert their dominance over the culture or whatever. Even school, you got the one kid at school that's beating people up, or you got just different stuff. Like, people see so much in specific environments that it's like by the time you become an adult, you done created all these defense tactics that are narcissistic that you don't even understand.
For real.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm living, but what you don't understand is because of all these things that you have deployed, you're not living for yourself. Someone is actually directing and narrating your path, and you don't even realize it. And it's him.
Yeah.
When you're able to really be like, I'm not gonna deal with the nonsense, and I want to learn and go on a path to enlighten more people, that's who's controlling your path.
Bro, it takes a lot to step back and look at yourself and tell yourself you need to change. And when you have the power to do it, it's a powerful thing though when you do it. Like when you go through with it, it's a powerful thing.
Well, yeah, that's what we were literally just talking last night in the whip on the way back from the listening party.
Yeah.
That shit was fire, by the way.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, let's just talk about that real quick. So, last night, Shu had a listening party for his new album. This for the East Side. It dropped at midnight.
Out
the
now.
whole fucking thing is fire. Literally,
Go
the whole
listen to
fucking
that
thing
shit.
is fire. It's
You
so
ain't listening
good,
to
bro.
that shit.
I
Pause this
literally-
shit right now and go listen to that shit.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you're like after, or like before. You feel me?
Put a lot into that. And when I know that it's serious is because you got to understand, like, what I went through was so traumatic that you have an energy there, and that's what I'm not oblivious to, having 5 siblings and understanding that the same energy that you all see in a light of I would consider it like maybe like a supernova, because this is my demeanor at all times. So when that happens, it's kind of like somebody like, yo, what, did he flip a switch? I've never seen. So what I'm saying is that same energy, directed in a positive light, I have the times where I sit back and think that same mass amount of energy is reversed in a negative on my 5 other siblings. Mm-hmm. So imagine what was exuding from me in a positive light to create cohesion, sitting on someone in the negative light.
Right.
That's more than enough to be like, you know what, I don't want it no more. This hurt.
For real.
And I can imagine it because I know what I have in a positive light.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't see both sides, and when you do, it makes you. I've never met someone who's really seen and lived both sides who's not like super knowledgeable. Like that just it does something to you. If you've seen both sides of it, it gives you so much empathy for everybody and so much understanding of how people work and like why things work.
I appreciate it, man, because it's like I see in the people that show up, like without someone telling me, like I'm at the point where you don't even have to go into deep conversation. I could walk past somebody, let's say, for example, 5 times, right? I could look at they body care. I could see their answers. I could see the way they move, and I can know something is off. I can know this person needs to talk to somebody. I can know they dealing with. I don't think the people who lack the empathy and all these different things understand that emotions have a look to them. That's what actors are for.
Right.
An actor goes on a set with a list that says, read this, that, and this many things, but this has to look like this, that, and the third. So when we watching a movie or whatever's going on, we're seeing what envy looks like. We're seeing what jealousy, anger, frustration, and things look like. But the people who are deploying this act, I don't think they know what these things look like. So when you come around somebody who can actually understand it, you don't realize that they can see it on you.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
Like, it don't matter if you walk up to me saying, shoot, I love everything you got going on, and I can see behind your eyes, you would shoot me in the back of the head if I turned around. It don't matter if you're trying to hide it with those words. I can see it.
Yeah.
I've done the study, and my self-awareness is above me. So due to learning self is the only way you're going to learn the way other people work. You're not going to learn the way people work by just being around somebody, because they can easily manipulate you. I'm this, I'm that, and the third.
Right.
Especially if you don't know them.
That has nothing to do with their actions and what they're actually portraying.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to really get on that self-actualization journey and learn more about you, because once you learn what it is that you possess and what you are doing and who you are, you can see the opposite. You can see somebody attempting to sway you in a way or manipulate you or gaslight you or whatever the case. You can see it. Like, it's clear as day. It's coming.
Yeah.
I know the patterns. I know how they set up the words. I know it. I study this stuff daily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just no manipulating me. It's no doing none of the nonsense, because I'm only here to help.
Yeah.
So if you attempt to try to drag me into a world of delusion, you just lost me.
Yeah.
It's just always easier to point the finger, blame other people for your problems, blame situations for your problems, instead of looking at yourself and like realizing what the problem really is.
Without self-awareness, you can't have you can't have responsibility or self-respect.
Yeah, that's facts. That's real shit.
So like when you're doing 6-month increments, like how exactly do you plan everything?
What I do is, like, let's say now we in June to December. So what I do is, like, if I got like major things that I would like to do that I know are an investment. Everything is an investment when you're trying to, you know what I mean? You all are investing your time into me right now. Like, everything is an investment. So if I know something is major that I want to do before the year is out, then I'll look at what I got going on without straining anything that's being done at the moment and be like, okay, I can do this date in August. Okay, this guy said that they got something going on. Let's set up a date for that. So by the time I didn't put things into months from June to August, the schedule is set, and that's 6 months worth.
Right.
So it could be like somebody like, I wanna try to link on this day. I got something going on in October, and I'd be like, implement it in. It ain't just me like, well, we gonna see what's up when that time come around.
Yeah.
I got care less regard for what you got going on. Then
I see what you're saying.
Right.
Why do you want to be involved with me if I got care less? So once you get all of this going, this is how I've seen to work for me to be a better person just in general. Like, I'm not just giving out broken promises and future faking.
I totally, yeah, bro. Exactly. I totally see what you're saying. Like, I ain't gonna lie. At first, I was a little confused, and I like that makes so much sense, bro.
Like you gotta set it up.
That's what I do, to be honest, bro. Like, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing next month. I'll let you know.
Like, I had a conversation. Things that are going on right now, I had already set like in January and at the end of 21.
Okay, I got you.
I already knew all of this stuff was going to happen. We just falling into it now.
Yeah, right.
I've been had this. That's why, if you all, follow the way that I do the artistry and everything, you all will see flyers and things drop a month, sometimes 2 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah, dude, staying ahead of it keeps it easy too. Keeps it less stressful.
It keeps everyone in the loop.
It keeps you when you got a whole, movement going on, and you're understanding that people have lives. It keeps you from being like, Mike, I don't care that you with the family. I need this done.
Exactly.
It's like, huh?
Yeah.
Mike's like, man, I am for the progression of the job, but come on.
Yeah, right.
You gotta like, I got the kid.
Right.
When Mike had 2 months ahead of time, he could be like, okay, I can set up and make sure, and the train just moves easily. You know what I mean? So it's like me, the project dropping tonight and everything was already set. So I don't have to walk into events with anxiety and these different things. Like, man, I hope people, it don't work like that. You know what I mean? You got to work smarter, not harder.
So then when something like this pops up, you knew right away if you were gonna be able to do it or not. You knew the time. Like, it was so easy to connect and like set this up with you for real.
I live out of town, man. As soon as me and bro chatted, it was like I said, man, when you drifting, either the universe waits on no one with time. The universe and time works hand in hand. So when you drifting, either the universe is gonna implement that time with your train of thought already through the law of hypnotic rhythm, which is either negative or positive. So while you're drifting, you're either gonna be fed more and more negativity or more positivity. So
yeah,
like I don't have time to, when I get in town, go. I got this energy from what I went through, what you all seen last night. That energy is on me at all times. I just have to channel it in ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not just not there.
Right.
It's kind of like Bruce Banner in a sense. Like, I don't have to just be walking around, oh, I'm a big artist that got the rap ability. That ain't, you know what I mean? What is that going to do?
Right.
What am I trying to make myself feel like, man?
Yeah. Well, and that's what's crazy about you, because, like, I know a lot of rappers that are about, they similar, what's the word? Notoriety, I guess you would say. But, they act, I feel like they think that there's a certain way that rappers should act.
You're right.
And that's why they act that way. But then when you're just like chopping it up with them and shit, it's like completely different. It's like they put on a character for the show. You know what I mean?
And what's actually happening is they're actually using multiple characters.
Yeah.
Because they still haven't learned who they are.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, for the rap side, I want to be who I saw my favorite. And that was another thing. Like, I had influences and studies from the greats that was like, they were not only underground, but they were just raw and rugged. And the reason it connected to me is because I came from an environment so raw and rugged like this right here, which is why it's connecting, that it was just like, you could tell they wasn't just making it up.
Yeah.
So when guys get around a rim where it's like, okay, I need to be a rapper now, act like this person. And then when they get into another realm where it's like, now I need to be a little more knowledgeable, act like that person. It's like and without going too deep into it, these are actually mental personality disorders.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, we can go as deep as I only really do too much looking into class B, which is either You know, I'm sure you all are getting familiar with the word from seeing the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp case, but histrionic and borderline, those are both in the class B.
Mm-hmm.
Histrionic, borderline, bipolar, and narcissistic are part of the class B, and those embody psychopathy, sociopathy, and all four of them, the key trait is narcissism.
It's so insane to meet a narcissist for the first time, because it's like you don't even know, like, especially if you don't know what a narcissist
what they
is.
Deploy,
yeah,
you're gonna without self-awareness to know what's going on. You'll be easily very like, and the thing is, the longer they've been doing it, they've gotten so slick at it that it's just like you almost with empathy, with higher levels of empathy than narcissism, because they're both on the spectrum. You're gonna want to believe.
Yeah.
I want to give you the benefit of the doubt until they bite the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Until they stab you in your back. Until they throw you under the bus. And then it's like, why did you do that? I didn't do that to you.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even never do that to you.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, you know what? I need to learn how you even got close enough to me to bite me. And that comes back to self-accountability.
Yeah.
So what was wrong with me?
Exactly.
That allowed me to take what you said at face value and really believe it.
Yeah.
And that's how you really grow. If you can really do that, if you can sit down and go through that whole process in your head, that's how you really
you got to do it.
Use them situations for better. And
well, it's like, bro, like I'm not gonna sit here and cap.
Speak whatever you gotta speak.
I got shit in my past that like I regret bad, bro. Right, and I think everybody does. Everybody does. But
yes, sir.
I know, like when I talk to people, if I'm like really just like we're just like having a natural conversation, I'll tell them like, listen, I know that happened because I wasn't aware of my surroundings and I didn't take care of business the way it needed to be taken care of, and I let myself like fall into that shit.
You know, a lot of that, you know, comes down to trusting people that manipulate you.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, depending on how long they've been doing it, it starts from you know, getting into psychology of it. It starts from so young that you were doing this to your parents as probably 2-3-year-old kid, because this is where narcissism is prevalent, 2 to about 5, because you're this very small entity in this huge world, and you're just like, I can't survive this. I need to deploy tactics, but it's supposed to shed after about 5 with just correct parenting, just good enough, not perfect, just good enough parenting will teach you. Stop doing that. Stop being a terrible 3. Stop being a bad 4.
Yeah.
Stop being a. But as kids, these babies, if you sit back and watch a 2 to 5-year-old, they're really doing things that they know are attention grabbing. If you're not paying them enough attention, by the time they're able to talk, it's more of look at me, look. If you really look and think about it, they're not doing anything different than the adult. It's just that the adult understands if I do it in the way of the 2 to 5-year-old, they'll know that I'm, you know, trying to get my way.
Yeah.
So they've learned 20 to 30 years of tactics to mask it. One has to go and shell the onion completely to be like, okay, so you're a 30-year-old, 4-year-old that would like for me to parent you.
Yeah.
I can't be your mom. I can't be your dad. But that's what's going on. In conversation, we just not understanding. A kid is gonna, come home from school after they just punched a bunch of kids and got straight F's. Yeah, mom, I was the greatest. Yeah, you know, the teachers love me. Until that parent-teacher conference happened.
Shit.
And it's like, hold on. I thought you've been telling me every day that, and they're learning, no, your kid is the devil.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You only,
that's real shit.
As an adult, they only really veer towards the people that are super high in empathy, or that they've, because I mean, they're not going to just pick and choose who they deployed on, but it's going to be worse for more than it is for others. To the people that are more kind of just like them, they know the shit that they doing too, so it's like, you ain't going to trick me.
Right.
So they got to find the people who don't know how this shit works.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes your music
empathic.
so good too. Just how knowledgeable you are about like the human mind, like
I
how
think that's
everything
what
works.
That's what I've been learning more
your
about.
Your bars
this
are crazy because of it.
I've been learning. I like putting together the joints like that. Like I always had that ability to put the words together in a light, but now as of recently with the studying, I've been learning like, okay, this is changing my music because I can hear it. Like I can I can hear the pain. Like, you gotta think, like, after certain records last night, like, you know what I mean? It was tears on people's faces, like, after joints. Like,
last night was crazy, bro.
Yeah, last night was.
It was a vibe.
This is the stuff that I love, man. It's like, I just appreciate the fact that there's people out here that want to see the light. They can see that there is a light, maybe not understand how to actually take steps towards it, but I'm somebody that does know that there is one and is trying to head towards it, but I don't want to just do it alone because I didn't come out of an environment by myself. I saw a whole lot of more people deal with what I did. So it would be weird of me to just think I'm around 10,000 ignorant people, but I'm going to just run towards knowledge and enlightenment and just be like, yeah, y'all figure it out. No, that don't even really resonate with me. I don't even know if I've ever had a conversation with a person that I wasn't unconsciously just trying to help. Like, that's just, I don't know, it's just who I am. Mm-hmm. And I could tell immediately upon probably the first 10 seconds of the dialogue, kind of where the person has an insecurity at, whether they're just telling you this is what's going on with me or not. I can just tell from the dialogue. Yeah. And then, I don't know, unconsciously, I just start implementing in my mind subconsciously what I know will help them. And it's not even just like a direct thing. Like, do this, that, and the third. And it's more of, I just start speaking knowledge in a sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what it feels like when you're talking. For real. Like, honestly, this is like quite the experience to have this like kind of conversation. Because this doesn't happen. Like, normally when we have artists on the podcast, we're talking about like albums, we're talking about songs, we're talking about all that shit. And this is just like, this is like different. You feel me? It's just
you
like.
You can see the anxiety of it where it's kind of like, I feel a little bit naked and vulnerable, and I kind of want to hurry up and get back to off the camera type. I know that you gotta. I watch.
A lot of people don't want to give too much too. So many people will start telling a story and then they go, "Nah, I can't talk about that."
Yeah, it's like, bro.
A lot of the times that happens because they've told the story in so many different lights. Most of the time when you're dealing with somebody who's dealing with something up top, either they're the victor or the victim. So when they've told the story in 100 different lights of either being a superhero or somebody that was hurt by everything, it's kind of like, I don't remember who I told what, so y'all kind of putting me on the spot.
For real, that's facts.
So let's just, it happened. Let's get to the next John.
Right.
That doesn't happen with somebody who takes on whatever is going on and lives it, deals with it, and is able to really express it. I can tell the same story 10,000. It's the same. It's what really happened. I don't know how to make stuff up. I never did. That's why my music is the way it is. I came in subconsciously and consciously knowing it's hard to make up stuff. Like, I tried to write and make up stuff. Like, that stuff is hard.
Yeah.
I realized how easy it was to just talk about me. And that's when the writing just never stopped from the beginning, but I knew trying to make up stuff, that's hard.
Well, and that's what's, I feel like, just art in general. I feel like when you first start out with anything, it's almost like you have to take inspiration from like other artists in order to just like kind of lay the groundwork down.
It's crazy you saying that because that's probably the step that I see a lot skip, where it's just like, I don't have a motivating factor or something that I'm drawing from. I just want to get to some millions and be a great. But it's like, how could you have careless regard for your forefathers? Mm-hmm. Who motivated you? You just put the controller down and was like, it's my turn. It doesn't work like that.
They just seen a rap video, see some dudes with some money, and they said, I want
that. Yeah, like when I
want it tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Exactly, bro.
Like, it's crazy, because I remember being a kid, because I've had a camera in my hand since I was like 8 years old. But I remember being on YouTube, bro, like all the time, 8 hours a day, and I'm watching these directors, I'm watching them make music videos, and I'm like, damn, these cats are fire. And I never forgot about them, and I ended up being in a situation where, like, one of the guys that I looked up to, his name's Joe Moore, he's 2 Chainz photographer.
Okay.
Ended up being in a situation where I was hanging out with this crew, and we were backstage, 2 Chainz is there, 2 Chainz photographers right there, and I got to say what's up and be like, dude, I've been watching you for like 6 years, bro. You feel me? It's just
that's what I mean. Like, and you don't even realize unconsciously it's people watching you, like drawing the same type joint. You know what I mean? I saw personally some guys that follow me that, you know, I may have had a bond with. I saw some guys like immediately after that joint I did, they reached right out to you.
Yeah.
After that joint we did at the store.
Yeah.
And it ain't even that. And the thing is, it ain't even like I'm hitting Shu up to be like, man, who was that? It's more of, I want that same type of light for me.
Yeah.
Let me reach. It don't have nothing to do with you, but it's like I see how people are just watching people, and it's like you just really don't even know who's on looking like until it comes face to face.
Yeah, and that's another thing, dude. We've been getting like, so, dude, this is crazy. Like I remember 6 months ago, we were literally like, dude, we should start a podcast. He came up to me and was like, bro, come on, we should start a podcast. And I was like, dude, it would be dope. Like, we could do it, bro. And then we were sitting on the couch in the living room of my apartment, chilling. Got the notebooks out. Let's figure out a name, bro. Let's start brainstorming. We start brainstorming off the porch. This is the story. This is the story behind the logo for everyone watching. Jeez. We thought of off the porch, right? Mm-hmm. We were like, oh, that's fucking fire. We were like, literally, feel like, oh, I'm hopping off the porch. That's like a thing. Fire. You know what I mean? And so we were like, we started making logos and shit. First logo kind of looked like that. Well, then we get on Instagram, find out off the porch is already a thing with like 200,000 followers.
It's a big thing. It's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. So we were like, all right, cross out the porch, off the block of it.
I looked at that too, because I'm like, I was looking at the promo and I'm like, got the cross on there. I couldn't actually see what was behind it, but now that I see his porch. Before y'all even have to explain, like I said, I study every day. I knew where the other, you know, and then that was good upon y'all seeing like, no, this is already a trained move and I can't just.
Well, I love the logo because it tells a story in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. It's like if somebody was to utilize their mental and look at it, it'd be like, okay, that could have been an idea, but no, we're gonna X that and go this way.
Yeah.
And that means that, you know, there's a backstory that obviously y'all sharing it with me now, but you know, what we would want and would like is for the avid person to look and be able to read it in that light.
Yeah. Right.
Everything, even this one sheet, this one page without a pamphlet to it, it's still a book.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to
whole story too.
And that came from, I think that part of my mind state came from being a kid and jumping into J.K. Rowling's and the people like that. Where it's like, okay, one person created all these characters, how? How were they able to compartmentalize the brain to where it's like, there's Harry, then there's his rival, but not only does this person have a name, he has a personality. Then there's his ultimate rival. Then there's his teachers. Then there's his constituents, his classmates. And it's like this all came from one person's brain.
She gotta have a hell of a mind.
And that was what? You were walking to the library at how old doing that, getting those books?
Yeah,
like 30,
man,
45-minute walk?
You remember that. Bro, like I was want to say 12 or 13 and it came from, the thing is I was, as a kid, I had that energy built up to where it was like, man, I gotta go outside every day, to the point where my parents that adopted me start realizing like the only punishment for him is no outside. Cause that just seems to be what he loved. But on top of that, matter of fact, you're not gonna just sit in the room and do nothing. Walk to this library, and I'm talking about this John was like 7 miles. Like it wasn't no close one. So it was like I'm getting there and trying to. I'm calling myself being a stubborn kid, and like I'm not about to keep walking here all the time. I'm gonna just grab the biggest books. Yeah. And just so happened to grab the entire collection of Harry Potter. It was like, I ain't gonna just have them. From page 1, it was like glue, stuck. Read all the way through and was like, whoa. It just so happened about a year later, going into like 6th grade, the movies came and it's like, wait, what I thought I read some stuff that was from a long, and literally those books were new. Yeah. I'm just being a kid that's angry that I can't go outside. Like, let me get these books, man. My parents, they don't. And I'm like, I'm falling in love with this John, not even understand it, to the point where after that, it's like, I want some other ones. Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And it's like, these ain't just, you open up the page and the words is this big. I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Right. You gotta really be in this joint. So it's like, at that point, I think that's what really implemented the imagination. At 12 years old, not even a preteen, And it's like, you're not just reading, you got to kind of make these words come to life in your head. That's what the falling in love with it was. So once you see the movies, it's like, man, this is how imagination and stuff works. How did one person do this?
Yeah.
And that's when, I think, it just kind of did like a wash on the brain that it's possible to create something.
Yeah. Right. And that's another thing too, man. Like, especially the older I get and the more I experience, you can really do whatever the fuck you feel like doing, or whatever you want to do, whatever your dreams are, whatever you want to, because I feel like everybody, even a lot of people, I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of people have dreams and they don't realize it, they don't think that it's possible, so they just like ignore it. And
that's why I think what you're saying is why I think we come across on the names, like when you think of the names of the people who are muses, we remember them because it's so small amount. Because I think, like you said, it's so many people that can, but it's like, I don't know how to take the steps, or that's a lot of work. That's kind of hard. Yeah. So the people who actually did, they're not only an inspiration, but they're rare, very rare, which is a part of being real. In the acronym of the song, real, rare, empathy, authenticity, loyalty. So these, like, that's so rare. You're gonna find a JK who was homeless and was experimenting with whatever she could to get the mind stimulated. It's rare that you're gonna find a Stephen King. It's rare that you're gonna find, these great authors, even though Stephen King, it could have been 15 Stephen Kings on this block that was just like, I don't know how or have the time to. I would rather just go and be amongst the people. Yeah. When Stephen was like, no, I'm in my basement, man. I'm about to write these horror joints and figure it out and become a legend. Not even thinking that. I'm sure J.K. and him and all the rest of the greats, Ye and these people. We could look at the Ye documentary. Of course, we saw, the bravado on him of knowing who he was, but that was instilled from up top, from his mom. He didn't just come out the womb like, I'm great Kanye. Yeah. His mom made sure, I'm going to reassure you the correct way because of what I know you're missing in father. I'm going to make sure if you like it, I love it. And I'm going to be here to support it. I know every word. I'm going to do that. And that created a warmth in Ye where it's like, no matter what somebody say, my mom said, I'm good. Which isn't these are going to create more of the latter than the people who are just like, I can't. It's some other, I need to go to work. Yeah. You got to think, man, I'm positive you going to go more into the realm of dealing with it. But, I come across it a lot, man, where it's people where it's like, I got a dream, but I got to go to work. And I don't think they're really realizing that you're going to work for somebody who have a dream. Yeah, for real. But you have a dream, but you're like, no, screw mine. I want to go fulfill theirs some more. If you just sat back and laid that out on the template, I don't think you all would think like that. Yeah. And I don't think you would be so comfortable just saying it either.
Right. And I think now is a perfect time to tell this story. So I worked at this place called Graham's and sold cars there for like 3 years straight. Uh-huh. Dude, I fucking hated it, bro. But I did it because it was like, I started working there, and dude, I'm like 19, 20 years old, and like I'm making racks, bro. Right. And I was just like, for the first time, I was like, dude, I got so much money, like I don't even know what to do with it, bro. You feel me? I'm just like I've never made this much money before, so I stayed there for a while. That's what it gets you. Yeah, it does. I don't get you, man. They call that golden handcuffs. That's what they call that. But I remember just sitting there, like, it really started to take a toll on me. Like after 3 years, I was just like, dude, I've never stayed at a job this long. And I was just like, and I hate selling cars, bro. I was like, I don't care how much money I make. Like, I fucking hate this shit. Like, you can't make me like it.
You got to deal with, personalities and people.
It's just like, I just knew it wasn't what I wanted to be for the rest of my life.
It wasn't a passion.
Yeah, it just wasn't a passion. I didn't mind going to work. Like, my boss was cool. My coworkers were cool. I didn't have a problem with them. But, like, it was just me knowing that I had untapped potential that I'm just letting sit.
End of the day, you're a workhorse. If you and him were both workhorses, none of this would be set up. So you have an energy of a drive to want to do something. It's just it wasn't that.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting there one day and I was like, dude, I gotta pick up the camera again and go hard. Yeah. So I hopped on Instagram and I was like, listen, I'm back. Hit me up if you need visuals. Bro, my phone started going fucking nuts, bro. I got artists that I worked with before calling me. Bro, my God, I've been waiting for you to come back, bro. I go into my boss's office and I look at him and I'm like, yo, I gotta ask you something. And he just looks at me and he's like, when are you quitting? And I was like, honestly, if you can get me like till the end of next month, that way I can save up the bread. I was like, then I'll be cool. And he's like, I'll let you stay here if you're gonna sell some cars.
Well, did he ask you that in the light of understanding that you had a different passion?
Yeah.
That's what would make that smooth.
Yeah. And so that conversation happens. He asked me, well, do you want to make your last day like on Friday? It was like literally the next day. Because that was the end of the month. Car business is not really like a 2-week notice thing. It's like at the end of the month, you know what I mean? It's over. So you gotta go on to the next one. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. Like that's like kind of risky. You feel me?
Right. That's immediate.
Well, literally, I sit back down at my desk, bro. And 15 minutes later, you fucking text me, yo,
synchronicity. I
need you Friday for BTS. Can you make it? I walked right into my boss's office and I was just like, yeah, I think Friday's gonna be my last day. And then I fucking went and shot that shit literally the day I quit my job, bro. I shot that shit for you, and the chain of events that happened was insane.
That's like, how synchronicities work, bro. That's crazy.
And it's crazy,
man, because you gotta understand, we didn't know each other from a can of paint. Like and the whole thing about who I am as a person, like once you explain to me what it was that you would like and everything, it wasn't no debating or anything. This is your value. This is what you understand your value is. It's just the same as if somebody reaching out to me. You don't reach out to someone and then try to tell them their value.
Yeah.
Like
facts,
you
bro.
knew
People
your value
upon
coming across the idea like, yo, no, I don't want to do this no more. Like this ain't, I got a will to, you know what I mean, implement my joint somewhere else. Not even just on a sense of currency, but it's like my vision.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is your value. We never met. I don't know. Here you go.
Yeah.
Meet me here. And it wasn't no games. You came out there. I remember I remember everything, man. Like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bro. It was a part of the journey. But that's a crazy fire story, bro. Like the amount of synchronicities I deal with on a lately after just, you know what I mean, walking in a more positive light and wanting to learn more daily. I'm talking about, it could be like, it's weird, bro. I could be like, I literally just had one, like just, it's many of them happen, but I'm gonna say one, like on the ride here, I went to my email. I was thinking of, you know, just a producer or something because I was looking for the joint for y'all.
Yeah.
Went to my email. I was thinking of a guy who was doing the mixing and mastering for my project out in LA. And I'm like, let me go to the top of the search joint to type his name in to see when I sent it to him so I could find that to y'all. And when I went to the top to push search, his name popped right there. It just dropped down. And I'm like, so I still get taken aback by these things. Bro. It's like, bro, I didn't even say it. Like I just was about to type it, and all I gotta do is tap it now.
Yeah,
and that type of stuff. Like these synchronicities are gonna continue to happen. The more all you got. I won't say all you have to do because obviously you both understand it's not that easy. But just use this.
Yeah.
If you don't use this, it's gonna use you.
Yeah.
And it's gonna use you through someone else. So if you're using this, I guarantee things are just gonna start clicking for you. And I think that's the power of unlocking your brain in some sort of light.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't got to figuring that out, but I think if you just tell your brain that it's something that can be put to use, that I think the universe is just gonna start submitting to you.
It's crazy you said like you had that feeling that you're at work and you just feel like you could be doing so much more, and like you're like, because I had that same exact feeling too. Like every day I go to work and I just feel like I'm not supposed to be here.
You're a creative. What it is you're both creatives. You know what I mean? Like myself, and the thing that happens with creatives is if you get tossed into an environment who you're unconsciously all creatives, because we walk the path of the least traveled, we're all leaders, but the difference is the creative that understands more of itself is a more powerful leader. It's just that when you're still trying to figure out, you know, why I don't want him in front of me, or why you're understanding I'm a leader, but you're not understanding how impactful that you would like to be or who you are. But anybody that is able to use this be like, I want to walk a path straight and narrow, and then inspire others. You're a leader.
Yeah.
Period. So what you all are basically dealing with is no different than what I dealt with myself. It's like I can't really go into environments where you're either a useless or like a lazy type leader and the like, because it's like I don't know your role, but you can get out the way, and all I need is a little bit of studying, and I promise I can do that better than you, and I've never even walked down that path.
Yeah.
But that just comes from being a natural leader.
Yeah.
I've taken the time to study root down to the wild root of exactly who I am, down to the life path master 22, down to the INFJ personality type, which is the same as J.K. Rowling, down to being a Heyoka empath. So once I've gone that deep, it's like now I see why things were an irritant in the light, where it's like you can't be here in front of me if you're not going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you all were dealing with. But as you get further into the journey, coming across somebody like me who are throwing out these terms, I'm positive you're going to sit and be like, yo, what is it? And then you're going to learn and be like, oh, let me learn some more. Oh, this is me? It works like that. And all it takes is someone to spark the thought, you know what I mean? Because until you know, we're ignorant to many, many things. I don't like when someone comes across somebody who doesn't have a specific knowledge and then be like, yeah, you're just a little bit ignorant. I ain't ignorant. What you talk? And it's like, do you even understand what ignorant means? Yeah. I'm not being derogative, I'm very ignorant to a lot of stuff, but due to the defense, this is how you can know people. This is one tactic amongst many. Same way they have tactics to survive, so do empaths. Yeah. And the key ones is dealing with keeping you all and protecting our energy.
Right. Yeah.
Got to, bro. You can't give more energy to people than, like, you can't give all your energy away and then go home with nothing left. It's not worth it.
Unless you're doing something like what happened last night
for yourself,
and that happens from me compounding the energy solo for many months, and then going last night and being like, you know what? No matter who shows up, you don't have to manipulate me in a light to take it. I'm here to give it to everybody. Yeah. So when everybody leaves, they could walk away with their own stories because I just gave y'all my energy. That's the best way I see to give it, because by the end of that night, from about neck up, I'm clairvoyant. I could talk. I can have conversations. I could do whatever. But from about the neck down, I feel like I'm empty, drained completely. Not that I'm lost, but I just gave everything that I had. Right. Yeah. I left it all in there on that floor. But this is the only thing keeping me standing here to be able to hold conversations with y'all. Yeah. I should, as a lazy man, I should be somewhere asleep.
Yeah. Feel that. Yeah. I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit too, like. So, what advice would you give to somebody? That has like a vision or a dream or a goal that they want to chase? Like, what would you say? Man, you would start doing first to get chased?
Honestly, I would say with my understanding now, I would say sit down. And just acknowledge and learn who you are, and that comes with taking head on whatever it is you've dealt with in life. Heal it. Forgive if you need to. Take the time to really learn and understand self, man. That way you're not going into any realm with expectation, because it's easy to be entitled. Like we spoke about, it's easy to feel like I deserve because 500 people gave me a fire emoji. It's easy to feel these things until, like we said, them 500 people on that fire emoji can translate to 0 in person. Yeah. But you don't see the impact of it until it happens. But with learning self, you don't even have that energy on you of that expectation. It's just like, that's a part of it. So going down any path, man, I would tell anybody, you got to take time to learn who you are, how you move, and what it is that you would like to actually get out of it. I had somebody ask me the other day, what is success? Like, what do you see success as? And I gave them an answer that I feel was more than sufficient, which is basically like, well, explain to me, like, you got to really take person to person, what is success to you? Because let's say in the realm of a rapper, right, where I'm an artist, so obviously we're gonna, first and foremost, we're gonna get artists that follow. So if an artist is following me and they need advice, understand this. What is success to you? Is success signing to a major label to have all of these material things that look great and then have all these people called followers and look like you're a megastar? Is that success? Or is success understanding fully who the self is, making sure that the people that are around you are appreciated and are loved in the same light that you give out, you would like back, and just creating something that's an entire culture that can move forward in a positive light? That's what success is to me. So no matter how far I get, the coalition that was last night is going to remain, and it's going to grow and grow, because the latter isn't success to me, because I know what's going on.
Right.
From learning self first. Signing a deal and doing that don't entice me. It's not that it's not a necessary tool or that I don't want to, but I'm not a person that cares for attention or that cares for cars or expensive clothing. And I think I came from zero. That stuff doesn't matter. So when people have two different, lights of what success is, then you got to really break it down like that. But to me, it would be, try to understand who you are. Do you want this or do you want that?
Yeah.
And that's going to, guide you best.
Yeah.
If you want the latter, I can't really help you too much on that.
Yeah.
If you would like to really learn life and go through it and deal with it, and not just numb yourself off.
Yeah.
And when people see you kind of like a zombie or you're in character, then hey, you can go that way. I'm not against it. I'm not going to judge you or anything. We got many of our greats went that way. But what I will say is, I'm sure you all have both come across interviews or just different things where you hear people say, the saying goes, never meet your idol. Do you know why they say that?
What? No. Why do they say
disappointed.
That? Disappointed. Bro.
You meet your idol and you realize,
they're just not who they think you
would
are.
be like this.
Yeah. I guess okay, now that you say that, yeah, I mean, I definitely have seen that. And
it comes down to that a-hole word a lot of times from what I hear.
Yeah.
Like you said, you got to know what you want. Because if you don't have a goal, or like if you don't know what you want, you're just shooting in the dark.
You definitely got to set goals.
It's like
that, but I think all of those are steps. Like if I was to give a step-by-step program, then there would be many things implemented. But as Brody was saying, we want to go to the base root. Like, what would you tell them first? That's why I say first would be to learn yourself. And then, of course, set goals and many, many things that come across. But there has to be a step one.
Right.
Yeah.
If one thing that I do know hinders many people is having 100 steps that need to be implemented, but they're sitting on the floor like a puzzle. Yeah. It's like, I don't even know what goes where.
You just shooting in the dark.
And then that kind of hinders you from even doing anything.
Yeah.
It does. You think you're moving, but you're really just sitting still.
Because I have people that I know personally that, when we would talk, I think it has a lot to deal with, they know and they see what I'm doing. So it's like, I can't just tell him that I don't know how to get it going. And then I also got too much ego and pride to say I need some help. So it would be like, when we would talk, it would be like, I want to run this many businesses and do this, that, and the third. And then I think about it, and then I implement the age and be like, okay, well, where's the first step at? But it's like, once you tell them, there's a first step that needs to be taken, it's like defense mode comes.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you think I was doing from the first time I picked up the pen till now? You think I was just lollygagging and then I just so happened to just wake up one day and it was like that Shuicide Holla?
Yeah.
I had to take the steps of that puzzle. I had to start putting that, you know what I mean?
100%. And it's crazy because I feel like the deeper you get into it, the more you start to see those pieces fall into place just naturally. Not even I'm a firm believer, man. If you really put your energy into some shit, and it's going to take a lot, and it's going to take a long ass time. Yeah. But if you keep it consistent and you keep it grinding, shit is going to start to happen. It's just how the world works.
The consistency, the passion, everything. It all ties into positivity.
Doors are going to open. Opportunities are going to be present. But it's up to you to be ready to take it. You know what I mean? You have to be in the right. Okay, this door just opened. I had a door open. Yo, Nick. You a dream chaser, or you gonna stay in Ohio and be a wedding videographer for the rest of your fucking life?
Right.
Dream chaser. Okay, in 2 days we need you to fly to LA, stay for the summer, and film every day.
Get it.
Yeah, fuck it. Drop everything, bro. Like, drop everything and just did.
I know exactly
bro.
what you're saying.
Because you was ready.
Like,
exactly.
You was ready. You gotta be ready for your opportunities. You gotta be able to take them.
Itself, you gotta be ready. Like, even piggybacking off of the story you told, like I was 16, so I left my family that adopted me at 17 and went back to the hood, as you were here on the project. But due to the love and everything that, you know, that they had shared with me, my mother came down to the hood and came to my aunt's house and said, you know, sis, with my sis Tanya, she's moving. She wants to give you the car. We don't want you just not having nothing going on, and just because they didn't just do the love and empathy. I think they kind of understood that I needed to go back to understand a little bit more. It wasn't this kid that we took in and adopted left us and screw him. It was never that. This is my family till today. We got family reunion Saturday, tomorrow.
Yeah.
In Solon. So it's like, when that happened at 17, you got to understand this. I ain't even going into too deep of the story. From about 14 to 16, at 16, I was caught, but I ended up racking up about 14 felonies of grand theft and different things against this family, from taking their cars and doing these things to try to teach myself life, because I'm this kid that came from the jungle that got all this energy pent up of that trauma and was like, this family is loving me and all this. I don't even know how to accept it or whatever. So I'm just like, in my mind, I converted it to you all have. It's at my expense as well. So if you all don't want to let me indulge in things, I'm going to figure it out on my own. So of course I did what I did. They was angry, forgave, had empathy, and still accepted. So upon 17, when my mom came down and was like, sis was giving you this car, here it is. At that age, I had never even driven 30 minutes. I told my guys what I was doing at the time to release energy, which was dance, which one of the guys said on the mic last night. I said, you know what? I'm tired of us having to battle each other all the time. I heard something's going on in Maryland and DC. A kid who ain't barely ever been on 6 hours. Me, you get in the car, we gone. And made this a monthly thing for years. Created a whole different coalition outside of music that's still present to this day. So when you hear freestyles of me saying 2 movements off my energy, you know what I mean? That was just, like you said, just going and doing. I'm just like on the road, 10-hour trips, 8-hour trips from 17 years old, just because, you know, there's no reason for it. But for some reason, I just feel like, you know, it should be done. These guys who were riding along with me, they had the same passion and everything, but it was like they wouldn't have known how to do this, or either they didn't have a car. And it's like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just embedded onto some people where it's like, nah, you gon' be the pioneer.
Facts, bro.
I'm leaving this responsibility on you. I knew the responsibility was heavy when the day I decided to give it up. And my bro sat in front of me, you know, who I passed it down to, and it was like, it felt like he lost a family member, the emotion that came from it. Like, you can't, bro. And it wasn't what I'm talking about in no sturdy face right now either.
Yeah.
It was that emotion, like, you leaving this on me. And it took me years later to understand why it hurt him that way, because I didn't know how heavy I was carrying, the burden it was, until I set it on him. It was like, nah, it's your turn. And it was like, it was almost in the sense that he was telling me, like, I can't do it. What you do is a lot. You take me and 4 or 5 bros and you put us in hotels. We go out of town, we battle guys. You make sure we eat. You don't charge us nothing. You show up as a 17, 18-year-old kid in front of our parents, and they look at you and be like, I trust you with my kid. Mm-hmm. I didn't know the weight of none of that stuff until probably, you know, years later, look back at it.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I was talking to him about, you know, people see something in me but that I don't understand. They just see it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Facts. It's invisible to your own eyes, bro. Like, it's...
And I think that's the thing that's most important about it, because if I knew or could see what it is, then, you know, I think that leaves room for people to be exploitative.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
It's
bro.
crazy, bro.
It really is.
So, what are we doing here? We got the album out?
Album's out. I also want to ask you about this real quick.
Let's get it.
So I saw a video of you opening for Waka Flocka at Kent
Man.
back in the day.
and I'll give you the backstory of that and why it was such a special moment, man. And me having this 10-year journey, I remember like yesterday walking into the Kent stage and doing an hour set in front of the 6 people that I drove up there with. An hour set. So basically me and my 6 people that we all drove together just shared the music that they already knew I had. So it was like, that was day 1. A month later, I come back. It's probably 10 people. A month later, them 10 people probably told another 10. It's probably 20 people. And kept doing this to the point where that first show, I was actually going to be the co-headliner for a guy named like Jam Skillet, I think was his name. And the guy Ethan, who is my guy to this day, opened up their venue to allow me to shoot 55th and Hamlet and did all these different things. But he was like, the headliner didn't show up because he heard that it wasn't going to be anyone here. I done drove 40 minutes from Cleveland with my 5 people, my family members. So you can headline. And I'm like, I didn't sit back and be like, ain't nobody here and become this angry guy. And I think that's what his parents and everyone saw, like, there's something a little bit different about this guy. So upon me headlining for many, many shows and bringing more Cleveland guys and being like, I want y'all to get some of this. And I think I might have maxed out at probably 35 people maybe at like my biggest show out there, but it was still love, hour sets, 45-minute hour sets. It was like when I got that call, like, bro, we appreciate you. You've been coming out time after time. Every time we got one, you headline it, you show love to our artists from Kent, you bring Cleveland artists. We doing this joint with Waka, and we only want one other person on that.
Hell yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, I had to work for that. It would be, imagine if I had soaked up on that very first one. You all wouldn't never seen no Waka show with Shuicide Holla on it in front of a pack. You know what I mean? That was amazing. Yeah. And they were interactive. And because it was like, a lot of them was the people who had been, you know what I mean, showing up.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why those type of stories stick with me, because it's like, I didn't just ask for something for nothing.
Just because, like, me and him come from a really small town. And everybody knows everybody. And, dude, I remember being out, especially now, like, dude, I feel like I've lived more in my 24 years than, like, 95% of Mansfield has in their entire lives. And so, like, I come back, and that's not, like, me trying to brag. That's just, like, bro, life is insane. You feel me? Like, the experiences you can have, the places you can see, all the people that you can meet. Like, it's such a crazy journey, bro.
Right,
just, like, life in general is so insane. And I feel like so many people, especially where we're from, they've never gotten a taste of that, ever.
Right.
And so, like, what we're trying to do and what, like, motivates me a lot with this off-the-block shit and, like, bringing people to Mansfield and, like we're throwing our own show. And
July 22nd.
One time, man.
Yeah,
we gotta get you
on.
on.
Set up something out there.
We're doing another one in the fall. We're gonna do it big.
All you gotta do is implement it and we figure it out.
Hell yeah, bro. No, that'd be crazy.
This is what I do. I have the conversations with people all the time, but it's, that's when I really, these are the type of conversations that make me understand there's a person over there and I gotta step into it. I can't continue to just sit back and be like, there's a guy named Shuicide Holla out there.
Yeah.
I gotta really step into it and be like, okay, now there's things that need to be done. I got a responsibility. So learning more of that, it's like, no, yeah, everything let's get it done. You know what I mean? Like, I know what's going on now. And I think last night brought me a lot more to fruition as well, because that was a phrase. My project is a whole therapeutic session, including the 3 tracks you were speaking about. So getting all of that stuff out, as I'm sure the more you dug in, it's a relief. I said it on the mic last night. Like, I went through these things as a teen and having psychologists and therapists that I was going to and different stuff. Whether I talked to them or not, they were in position. So I understand, just like the light man, just like this man, just like these are specific people with a profession that can help people. Yeah. I just so happen to, on my platform, the people are my therapist. I'm not doing any venting that the average person wouldn't do about their traumas. I'm just being creative with it.
Right. And the beautiful thing, bro, like you're saying, like that's your therapy. The people listening to it, that's their therapy. Like for me to throw that onto my car and like some of them songs, they just hit, bro, and it's like
that's
it.
like it's
You get a lot of emotion out of you. It puts a lot in your head. You think a lot.
The beauty of it.
It's
like,
therapy for the listener too, for real.
I like the fact that you know, just amongst expressing and being vulnerable with any average person, that they are able to. They don't even really. I don't think they realize, but even speaking back in a vulnerable light, like yourself, you all are being therapeutic with me. Like you probably don't even have these opportunities to get that stuff out just with the random person.
Yeah.
And embodying and honing all that stuff in is what creates more and more and more energy towards your passion.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still gonna have this super duper drive and will towards your passion, but you still need to have that outlet and that vent.
Yeah.
And when you have conversations with genuine people, you're unconsciously doing that if you're not seeing the therapist themselves.
Right.
I think that's what's made our relationship so easy between me and him, because ever since day one, we've always just talked about how we felt. Like there was never
that's probably why y'all got that glue. It ain't really your problem. I'm
yeah. Well, it's like, bro, I'm not even gonna cap. Like, I've been around like a lot of weird, like not like I don't know.
I know
I've been on
weird
I've
energy.
been on a lot of,
Weird
like,
energy.
Like a weird social dynamic, and it's like they would always say, "Yo, that's my brother, blah blah blah." But I always felt like I was just like not. I was like on the outside, but they would still call me that, and I was just like, to me, it just didn't feel like I really was their brother, even if they actually viewed me that way. I just never felt like a part of it. But like me and him, bro, like this is my fucking dog. You feel me? Like for real, like bro,
it's
me.
Funny you said them type
like,
stories, man, because it's. I think everybody deals with it, bro. Like I will say this, man, because what I never want to do is I'm always willing and wanting to teach and help someone more than a light of bashing or pointing fingers. But what I will say is, everybody that you saw last night with a Shuicide jersey on is family, blood or not, and are the guys that I can, have therapeutic sessions or however the case may be. And those were the guys. But what I will say is, leaving 21, there were many more that I thought were like those guys that got left in 21. So I say it about everyone, I ain't gonna lie. This is probably my personal, but I had guys come up to me like, I think this is the most complete one, man. Like this joint right here is different.
It is.
So I'm taking all of that in. Without thinking too far ahead, I'm prepared for whatever's to come and just looking forward to what's next, man. Like I'm hungry. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Without having to just have this bravado, I know.
There's a lot of hunger in the room right now, bro.
I'm stepping, like we gotta step into who we are, man, and really take that on and understand the responsibility that come with it.
100%.
We all got followers, whether they're showing up prevalent or not. They there.
Yeah. 100%. 100%, bro.
Alright, so it's been Shuicide Holla.
Sure.
It's been Off the Block Live.
Off the block.
I love y'all. It's been an episode.
Hang on, wait. I'm not in the shot, so
July 22nd.
No, go ahead.
July 22nd, get your motherfucking tickets.
Get y'all tickets, man.
Step outside.
With the people, man.
DJ Packs in the building.
Yes, sir.
Off the Block Live. We out.
Only thing we stress for more.